Where do I begin to tell you about the incredible and detailed re-engineering of Larry's 1950 Bentley? This is not just a fully restored classic, but rather a complete mechanical and redesigned work of art. Larry had an accident some years back that left him in a wheelchair.
Well, I'm a C6 quadriplegic, so we designed it so I could drive it from the wheelchair.
He required a special car for his special needs, not an easy conversion.
It gets very complicated because I sit so high in the chair that it had to be, the floor had to be dropped almost 12 inches on the driver's side. And once that was done, it became very complicated because now there's no room for a transmission hump or a drive shaft. So then the vehicle had to be converted to front-wheel drive at that point.
This was only the tip of the iceberg in converting a weathered and worn Bentley into what you see here. How do you make a car like this wheelchair-friendly and still maintain its beautiful appearance?
Well, to lift the lift that I actually go up on uses an electric linear actuator. But to bring the doors out and the lift with me on it, it's got a 45-inch hydraulic cylinder on a 3-stage boom, horizontal boom.
The wheelchair platform is actuated with a click of Larry's keychain. If you think restoration and customizing of your car was challenging, this Bentley was an engineering project beyond belief in many different ways, and not only to make it wheelchair accessible.
We tried to open the doors a different style, worked on it for months, probably had 400 hours in it, and then scrapped it. Thought it wasn't going to work and started all over. So yeah, it was quite tricky to do.
The entire car was modified and changed from the ground up. Couple that with all the body restoration and other refinements that went into this Bentley.
Well, this is a complete conversion because this is a British car and it came right-hand drive. So we've converted it over to left-hand steering. We had to convert it from rear-wheel drive to front-wheel drive. And instead of an inline 6 with a standard transmission, it's a V8 with an automatic, power steering, power brakes, cruise control, air conditioning, power windows. It all had to be basically built around me. The front end is really complicated. It's a Chevy Blazer 4-wheel drive front end with a Corvette engine, then a Tornado transmission and differential that tie into the differential from the Tornado ties into where the transfer case was on the 4-wheel drive Blazer, and that's what powers it.
This is not Larry's only wheelchair-friendly classic. He also owns a rare Lincoln Zephyr that has been completely converted.
The Lincoln's a 38. It has coach doors on it originally, so the post in the middle was taken out and added to one of the doors, much like the side doors on a van. And when those doors swing out on barn hinges on the outside, or like a type of barn hinge on the outside, and then the lift lifts up and swings out, and then I exit the car from the side. Where this one, I exit parallel to the car.
In many ways, the Lincoln was a test model for the Bentley.
The Lincoln is very aerodynamic, way ahead of its time for 38. And even though the whole car is teardrop from one end to the other, they put a standard bracket up for the license plate straight up in the air. So we sunk the license plate into the trunk. And then after, with this beautiful teardrop fender and skirts, the fuel tank had just a cap sticking out of the fender. So we eliminated that and put a door on like a modern car. But other than that, it's pretty close to stock.
Larry has always had a passion for classic automobiles.
Well, I've always been interested in antique cars since I was a kid. And back in the 80s, before I had this accident that left me in the chair, I was restoring a 38 Lincoln 3-window coupe. After the accident, we finished it. And the first season or second season in the chair, I was sitting outside in the spring in the nice warm air, and my son, our son came out and hopped in the coupe and said he was going to visit his grandparents in Windsor. As the car drove away, I thought, there's something wrong here, you know, it's my car and I can't even get in it. So that's where I got the idea to do this.
That's a very small part of the story of Larry and his magnificent 1950 Bentley and 1938 Lincoln Zephyr. There's so much more to tell, but that's for another day. Thanks for viewing. Have a safe winter. And come spring, we'll see you at the car shows and cruise nights.